Hello, my crafty friends. Here's my first attempt at making a decorated hair stick. I'm going to be using a wooden hair stick and then some vibrant clays from Arteza. You may have seen on my blog where I have made wands this way, and I've also got a short where I'm using that pen that I just showed to make a wand-inspired pen. But I've always wanted to make a hair stick, so I'm going to give that a try now using these fun clays that come in a ton of vibrant colors. I ended up going with a shimmery, glittery, kind of goldish colored clay. You can't see it as well in the video, but in person it has this beautiful metallic shimmer to it, which I thought was really cool and unique. So first I'm going to roll a piece of the clay through it's basically a pasta machine, but it's labeled as a clay tool. I'm going to roll it through twice so that I get this long, thin strip. It's going to be super duper thin. I've set my machine to the thinnest setting. I think on mine it's like 10. But whatever it takes to get it razor thin. Then I'm going to lay that out on my work surface and use the cutting tool that comes with the clay to trim off an edge. And you can see my piece isn't long enough, but that's not a problem. I will just attach my cuts to the end there to make this long enough so that it will completely wrap around my hair stick. So again, just cut it until it fits and then wrap it around. If you find you missed some little pieces, you can always add another piece of clay. And then I'm just going to roll it back and forth within my hands. I like doing it this way because then it gets like a less smooth surface. And to me, like if this was carved out of wood or something, it would have knots and bumps. And so this makes it less perfect and more wood looking. On the pointy end, you will want to kind of twirl that in your hands and then pinch off any extra clay that's at the end. We don't want a whole bunch hanging off. And then on the end that the marble's going to go on, I'm going to take some extra clay and build that up. And you'll see that in just a second. So once I feel that I've smoothed out all the lines from where the clay overlaps, I'm going to work on that end there. You want to leave a little bit of clay for the marble to stick to, and then you're going to make like a tube of clay and wrap it around the end of the marble there and just kind of squish it in place and then roll it. So we want it to cover up the base of the marble to help hold it in place, kind of lock it in there, and then you can keep adding clay as needed to build some support there at the bottom. So we want it to kind of taper up, as you can see there. Once I have the base of the wand done with the clay, I'm going to grab one of my silicone molds. These molds, I use them. They're made for resin, chocolate, whatever. You just want something that's not too deep and choose a style that you like. This one has teeny tiny skulls. And this is the one that I call my Death Eater wand. It's one of my favorites, and it always sells out really quickly. So I pinch a little bit of the clay into the area where the skull is, and then push it down as hard as you can to get that imprint. Here I'm going to show you how I do it with the tool. Sometimes the clay will stick to your hands too easily, especially with teeny tiny molds like this one. So instead I can use the end of my tool to push it in. Now, when I kind of zoom in on that, you see all the detail in that tiny little skull. I'm going to transfer it over to the wand, and because the clay is unbaked and it's nice and sticky, it's going to adhere really, really nicely. So I'm just going to keep doing that, making little skulls, sticking them onto the wand until I feel like I have enough. Usually on a regular wand, I'll add more, like 10 or so, but since this is going in my hair and I don't want it to catch my hair, I'm just going to put maybe 6 on the upper end there that people are going to see when I'm wearing this hair stick. Once I'm happy with the way it looks, I'm going to head to my oven, bake it at 300 degrees for about 10 minutes to 15 minutes. It depends on your oven. And this is what it looks like when it's completely done. Now, to highlight those shapes, I like to take a little bit of Plaid's metallic paint in gold or whatever color you want. And this one, I thought gold would work well with it, and just kind of dry brush it over the shapes to help them kind of pop and highlight them. And that's it. Once it's dry, it is ready for use. I can't wait to wear my Death Eater hair clip, especially around Halloween season. Hope you enjoyed this project. If you head to my shorts, you can see how I made the pen version of this project. Have fun crafting and creating. Ciao, amici.